IG report, Congressman, when do you expect it? You know, you've been studying the origins of the Russia probe. You and your colleagues now for 3 years have done a great job in terms of exposing the wrongdoing that took place in 2016. What should we expect from this report?
Well, I do think it's going to be the first week of December. Bill Barr said it's imminent. I think, you know, I would love it if it came out sooner because, to your earlier point, Maria, the Democrats are racing to get through this impeachment as quickly as possible. That's why we have 8 witnesses and 5 hearings this week, and we're not doing any of the work, is because they know that that Inspector General report is likely to be damning about the origins of the 2016 investigation into the Trump campaign, the role that the Obama-Biden administration officials played in that. Look, we know this. The report is supposedly 500 pages. It doesn't take an Inspector General 500 pages to say that everything was done correctly and properly. And I can't tell you everything that's in there, but what I can tell you is that I know that the Inspector General is going to have to find that there were things that were done wrong, that there was exculpatory information that wasn't provided to the FISA court. And I think it's going to be an indictment of Adam Schiff, who has written his own FISA rebuttal memo, if you remember, back in January of 2018, saying, how dare Republicans criticize people like Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and Andy McCabe and Bruce Orr, who have done nothing wrong. I think that the IG report's going to find that there were problems in the FISA application process, and they don't want that to come out until after they've impeached the president. Wow.
In fact, you've got a letter here from Adam Schiff to Devin Nunes, the ranking member on Intel, saying, look, we want all of these hearings specifically to be only about the Ukraine phone call. We don't want anything about Hunter Biden, and we don't want anything about any, he writes, quote, debunked interference into the 2016 election. Debunked. When I look at what's happening, you've got an investigation at the highest level of our law enforcement. That's the Attorney General investigating 2016 election and interference by potentially the FBI and the CIA. You've also got John Durham's investigation, now a criminal investigation. So I ask you, what exactly is debunked about 2016 interference, which is what Adam Schiff writes? I guess he's not under oath to write this letter either, right?
He's not, in fact, and it's not debunked, and I think the IG report is going to validate Chairman, at the time, Chairman Nunes's FISA memo that highlighted the abuses. Look, I can tell you this. I can't tell you what the exculpatory information is that relates to George Papadopoulos, but there was some, and I can tell you that it was not timely delivered to the FISA court during the pendency of those FISA applications, and I'll promise you that the Inspector General report is going to address that. That's just one thing.
Well, we think we know that. Our audience, in fact, does know that because we have had George Papadopoulos on, and your colleague, former colleague Trey Gowdy, basically saying that there was an informant who went to George Papadopoulos and said, oh, it's great that Russia has these emails. It's good for Trump. And George Papadopoulos answers and says, no, it isn't. That's treason. I would never do something like that. And the guy was wired. It was an informant talking to him. And that transcript should be one of the pieces of evidence we're expecting in the IG report. That's what you're referring to, aren't you?
I believe that that will be addressed by the Inspector General, and whether that was timely delivered to the FISA court. And assuming all of that is true, and we'll let the report speak for itself, then what you'll see is probably a shifting Democratic narrative saying, well, it didn't make any difference.
All right. Are you expecting...
There are genuine questions about...
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, there are legitimate questions from those of us that have seen the classified documents about the origins of the 2016 investigation. It's, I think, unraveling, and that's why they're rushing to impeach the president. They failed to impeach him for being a Russian agent because it was a joke. They failed to impeach him for obstructing justice because it was a joke. And this impeachment hoax based on a phone call with a president of the Ukraine who says, I'm not a victim, nothing happened, is also a hoax.
So we're going to talk with a Democrat coming up.